over to George because he is, not only has he been an amazing student and graduate of our program, he's also now a certified coach in our program and has been wildly successful running around over on the LinkedIn platform. So George, welcome. And it's nice to see you sitting upright after being horizontal for 2 weeks with that broken leg.
Thanks, Melissa. I appreciate it. Guys, I was absolutely blessed to come across Melissa just over 2 years ago. At the time, she was speaking with David T.S. Wood, who was a coach in one of my businesses at the time. And she was talking about how she had monetized LinkedIn. And I'm thinking, I have to get on with this chick. I've got to find out what it is. So I researched her at the time. It wasn't during one of these masterclasses. And I researched her and I paid full price. So guys, we're going to come back to that in a minute. But like she monetized it and she's had so much fun. And for me, I paid full price. And what I did, Melissa's kept talking about these audits and everything else. So what I did was I jumped straight in and got into all of the live sessions. You'll see there's a sunrise behind me or the planet behind me at the moment. I'm actually here in Melbourne, Australia. It's 2:45 in the morning, Sunday morning here, guys. So I spent 2 years getting up to go to 2 to 3 a.m. functions with Melissa. You've seen her enthusiasm here. She does laughing yoga before she actually gets into her training sessions, right? She's pouring so much value back into us and talking about content and stuff like that. So for me, in my content, I've pretty well mastered the snowflake part of the content. Consistency in content, I'm still learning about it, but that's the beauty of this whole platform is you don't have to have all your ducks lined up in a row when you first get started. You can go through the program and you can tune it. You can get feedback from your mentors and everything else. You get feedback from Melissa, feedback from our master coaches, which is fantastic. And you just go through the program. And so for me, my big snowflake is travel, adventure. And yeah, and in that adventure, I was jumping with my jet ski 3 weeks. It's actually 3 weeks ago today now. And I broke my leg, snapped it complete through. I now have a titanium rod. I have screws and bolts in there and things like that, which is really cool because I haven't actually had to have a plaster cast. But I've been horizontal for 3 weeks, and that's been really cool because I've been able to get back and focus on some of the other things that I hadn't done properly. I'm going back through Melissa's modules and actually doing them now, whereas what I did was I did the absolute minimum I could of each of the modules so I could get through each of the audits and participate in the fun live sessions. So,
well, I will say this too, George, you got busy making a ton of money and then you just got busy having fun, right?
That's it. That's where I was headed. So I run 9 businesses, maybe 10 at the moment. And one of the modules that Melissa teaches is about knowing the value of your proposition for your market. Melissa knows that about hers. Every one of these masterclasses, the price actually goes up for the next one. So as an altar call, Melissa's put out there, and you guys who are here, the 70 of you who are still here now, you're dedicated and you're Melissa's market. And that's the beautiful thing about this whole thing is you don't need everybody. You need the people who relate to you. I was blessed. So like when I started in this thing, I think I was at business 6 and I was doing Isogenics, and I absolutely loved that business. But the recruiting and everything for me had actually just blown me out because I was just sick of recruit, inspire, drag. Recruit, inspire, drag. And like what I worked out is that I didn't need everyone in the business. I needed some key people. Jumped into my crypto businesses, and things have just absolutely turned around. And the automation stuff that we teach, have you actually talked about the Calendly stuff yet in this?
You know, I feel like the automation doesn't make a lot of sense to the new client because they can't perceive that they have so many leads that it needs to be automated. But it's actually why we added it to our program, because our clients were getting so many leads that they needed a system and process. So go ahead, George.
Yeah. So for me, the automation step was getting my Calendly set up, and I've got a video in my Calendly which is not attractive to everyone because I don't want everyone. I want the people that relate to me. I heard something again about entrepreneurs are basically lazy. They want to get the work done and then go and get the benefits for the work that they have done. Okay. And so for me, I've set up my Calendly link, and I'm probably only getting 4 opportunity meetings a week in there at the moment. but they're 4 quality meetings, and I'm not wasting my time to jump in there and talk to everybody. But if you jump into my content, again, I did a bit of a collusion with Melissa in advertising this program. And I think from the leads in LinkedIn, I managed to get to be the highest referrer into the actual program because we were talking to the right people. Just seriously cool. And again, there's thousands and thousands of people. We don't want them all. We want the people who relate to us. Totally. And again, as I said, for me, my snowflake is all about adventure and stuff like that. And I'll just give you one more example on the value stuff. I've just spent 7.5 weeks touring North America before coming back here. And I started that with a 21-day jet ski tour from Seattle to Juneau, Alaska. That cost me $20,000 for that 21 days. Okay. When I spent the money on Melissa's course, it was the first time I'd ever spent money on something outside of my normal programs. And I certainly didn't have the abundance to be able to afford $20,000 for a 21-day trip.
Wow.
With the stuff that I've learned from this and actually talking to the right people and backing off with my offer so that I'm actually only talking to people who actually have asked me to talk to them about my offer, I was able to develop abundance that allowed me to do that trip. And now what the person who actually owns that company of the trip said to me, if you bring other people along, I will discount your next trip. And so, but one of the things I hadn't worked out was initially was how much that initial trip was going to cost me. It cost me a lot more than I thought it was going to, but that's okay. So what I'm talking to now is I'm talking to people now, I'm saying, you need a minimum to set this amount of money aside. Most of the guys are going like, oh man, I can do it. I said, great, you're not my market. Just get out of my feed. I'm going to talk to the people who can put $10,000 aside for a week in paradise. And one of the other learnings I did on that jet ski trip was in that first 10 days of that trip, I was the only person who earned less than $1 million a year. And I'm thinking, that's why I was on that trip, was so I could associate with people that were way above my level of experience, and I can hang on to those people and think, right, I need to reset my goals and do it. That's what Melissa's doing all the time. She's doing all her external masterminds and everything else. She's resetting her goals the whole time. And me, by being on that trip, I've reset my goals. And to hang around with people that are making more than $1 million a year, man. So Melissa's other comment in the training earlier on the week was make your ceiling your floor. I think it was something like that.
Yeah,
you do that.
Make your floor your ceiling.
Now the other way, make your current ceiling your new floor.
Yes, yeah. You're right. Yes. Yep.
And with that, so again, I've gone all over the place, guys. Content. What the thing is don't be pedantic about your content. Just do content.
Just be yourself.
Do content that is you, and your audience will relate to you. It doesn't have to be polished. Yes, the Academy will teach you all the things of selected fonts that match your profile and all the rest of that stuff. But start. Yes. Get out there in there. Let your audience get to know you. And the people who are turned off by what you're putting out there, you don't need them anyway.
Yes.
Right?
It's so high school, right?
Cool.
Yeah. George, I love this. I absolutely love this. And it's so true to just be your authentic self, to be successful on the platform. I would love, just for these guys, from a result standpoint, because I don't think they don't know you or your businesses as well as I do. When you launched your cryptocurrency business while you were midstream in the Academy, do you mind sharing with the group what you were able to do in revenue, or ballpark it for everybody? Because what I love that you said, I'll back up for just a second, is that when you invested in this, you had a really hard time wrapping your head around investing $4,000 into the mastermind or the Academy or whatever it was at the time. It was probably a little bit less than that. And then yet a year and a half later, now you're at a place in your business and you're in a place in your mindset where you handed over $20,000 for a jet ski trip, right? So can you talk to everyone a little bit about the results that you've gotten through this shift in how you're running your businesses?
Yeah, sure. And through that shift, what I've learned is that don't put all your eggs in the one basket. And I've been in network marketing for 35 years, and my first business was the Amway business, and I'm absolutely loyal to it. I still buy their products. I still get a bonus from the work I did 35 years ago. It's a tiny bonus, but I still get it. Okay. But everyone said, just focus on the one, focus on the one. What I've subsequently found is that no, you can build multiples, and you can tell your different story on LinkedIn. You can tell you, and also everything we're learning here on LinkedIn, you can take to the other socials. All right. And so what I had to do is I had to learn not to sell before I'd been given permission to show. And I took that over to my other socials. And so, yeah, my first crypto business, in 12 months, I brought in over $1.2 million of fees, and that set up to me $400,000 income, which is very, very different to where I was before. I've subsequently set up another crypto business as well, and that's getting off the ground and rocking. And again, it's the big thing about knowing your value. And I'd struggled so lot because I'd earned a living out of all my previous network marketing businesses. I've now developed abundance, and it's very, very different. And the bit about breaking my leg, again, I'm not sure where all your audience is on their Christian path or whatever for me, but I believe in Christianity, call it universe, whatever. But it was the universe saying to me, listen, mate, we showed you abundance last year. You went and spent it. Cool. But we've shown you how to set up abundance for others. Get back and focus. So then Melissa says, oh, we'd like you to become a coach in the program. I'm going, you beauty. I can give back to the program that Melissa's put together that has poured so much more joy into my life, that kept me buoyant during times of, man, I just don't want to recruit another person to another business. It is just too much work. To have then set up systems around what we're doing and results. And then the best thing about this, for the rest of you, I can't directly recruit you guys who are in network marketing, but you can talk to me later if you want to. But again, the thing about it is for network marketing, I love that industry. And what we're now doing is showing, it's a part of my change. I changed my banner to say restoring credibility for network marketers, which has actually been really interesting because it turned a lot of people off because they just don't want to know anything about network marketing. And yes, if you're in network marketing, you still probably don't want to be that upfront on your page unless you can really sell it. But it's cool. The results are there, and lots and lots of fun. But yes, plug in with this. Again, I'll re-say this to you guys. If you want to jump on this, she had freebies again for you today. I got in at a time when freebies weren't being offered. She didn't swing back and give me the freebies because I hadn't been part of the masterclass, but I've jumped in each of the masterclasses since and had heaps and heaps of fun. But for you guys who are our audience, what I wish for you is every social success you can possibly have on whatever social platform you're using. Plug in with Melissa, because again, her daily laughing yoga, just pour that into your life and use that as an uplift. I'm having an absolute ball. Is that the answer to the question you wanted, Melissa?
Yes. Thank you so much, George. You are just a shining light. We just love you, and your whole story and your trajectory and how you've been a true student of the method, and the results that you're getting and your commitment in the middle of the night. So thank you for popping on tonight. Tomorrow time for me, because I know it's Sunday where you are. So thank you so much for popping on. We really, really appreciate it. You guys go follow George over on LinkedIn. He's just an incredible shining light, probably busier on the platforms than in the past because he's stuck in his house. So, George, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's